So for some reason, I have a little scratchy throat. I was thinking maybe we wouldn't even do the live today, but that would be 3 in a row. Would that be bad?
That
Would people
be
just
bad.
leave if we miss the
I
third?
think they may
Oh my
have.
gosh, we're
They
live.
may have already.
Holy crud. NARBC folks coming up in Schaumburg in about how long? A month. Don't miss it. I do have a scratchy throat. Why don't you carry on? And I'm going to take a little drink. Just talk to everybody.
All right.
Chit chat with everybody.
Chit chat with everybody. Hi, Angie. How you doing? That would be my question as well, Angie. Where is everybody tonight? It's a busy night, apparently.
Busy. We'll have
Frank?
people coming in like
All of a sudden they'll start jumping in
droves. Now that you're here, Angie, everybody will see that and say, "Oh, it must be a good thing. It must be that they're live."
Did you shave?
No, why?
It looks like it.
It does look like it.
Oh, it looks like.
Thank you for adjusting.
Look at me. Wow.
What am I?
You did something.
I had a full beard just last week, and I cut that off. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Hi, Cassandra.
This is going to be a fun
JP's here.
evening. We have Dustin. What's it? JP. We have Dustin Dobs.
Cassandra's here
from Brew City Morphs here, and this, if anything, this is going to be a fun session because I get to chat with Dustin like for 2 minutes at these reptile shows. He does the scaled up expo shows as well as Nanette and I for Supreme Gecko. And every time I get a chance to talk to Dustin, he's flying, I'm flying. It's just a crazy thing. And he's fun. I enjoy every second that I can chat with Dustin, and I wish it were more.
Katie just jumped in.
Katie, thanks for jumping in. What's going on at Supreme Gecko, Nanette? Real quick. We don't want to keep Dustin very long. Yes? What? Huh?
I just put my s'more in my mouth.
What's going on at Supreme Gecko? I'm going to find a picture here real
Lots of
quick.
hatching.
What's all hatching?
Good Lord, I even know. Kim Holloway.
Yes.
Vipers.
Yes.
Crusties. Picta. Black one eye. I don't know if I said that right.
That's outstanding.
Wheeler Eye.
That is outstanding.
Cave geckos.
Oh my gosh.
A day gecko. See, I was paying attention.
You were paying attention. We have crusteds going. We have Peridor, Picta. Just everything's. We are really late to the game every single year, and that's because I warm up the downstairs later than everybody else. What that does is it gives us a little bit later in the season hatchings. But I tell you what, the incubators are full right now. We're going to break out the hoverbators, and everything is hatching as quick as I can put eggs in the incubators. We're getting things hatching out all over the place. Anna, thanks for jumping in. So what about Dustin? Well, this is Dustin. This is Dustin at every show. That's not me at every show. I don't normally kiss other vendors unless they're pretty. Well, unless they're Nanette. But Dustin does this photo bomb on other vendors at reptile shows, and it's such a fun thing. If I could say anything else about Dustin, he just brings joy to the community. And without further ado, let's hide this. Let's bring on Dustin. How's it going, Dustin?
What's up, boss?
How you doing tonight?
Somewhat tired, but again, I'm also active because I'm ADHD, so I'm got a natural built-in Starbucks in me, so I'm going to be wired till about 1:30 in the morning.
I think we can go until 1:30, 1:35, something like that. I think we can do that. No, Nanette says no. Sorry,
No.
Frank the Tank.
Sorry.
Well, you've got a lot going on. That's the thing. And I know that at the shows, you're always running around. You're always trying to get as much done as you possibly can. You're trying to see everybody. But
Yeah.
I tell you, you have a busy life as well. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your busy life outside of reptiles. We're going to jump into reptiles in just a minute, but tell us about the other Dustin, the non-reptile Dustin.
So during basically the week, I work for FedEx. I do deliveries, and I love what I do because I'm in a really rich area, and everybody's got dogs, other reptiles. So they're always coming up to me asking questions, and what my boss does for me is really awesome, and he works with me with my schedule. So we have a deal where if I'm not working at a Reptile Expo, I come and work for FedEx. If I'm not at FedEx, I'm usually at a Reptile Expo. So literally, I'm working 7 days a week.
Now, does that, and that's a mind-blowing schedule. It really is. Nanette, did you have a comment? Okay, you were reaching for the cursor.
I was trying to
the
scroll down, but
mouse?
I got mine started
Cool,
moving.
cool, cool. That's a crazy schedule. So you said 1:30. Is that your normal reptile time?
As soon as I get home, I deal with all my reptiles, and I'm usually in bed by about 1:30, and then get up by about 6:30, 7 o'clock, take a shower, get ready, go to work, and be there by 8:30.
How do you like that schedule? How do you like
That's
the?
5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't bother me because, like I said, I'm ADHD, so like that natural built-in Starbucks that's in me, I've been doing that for years.
That's cheaper than me. I wish I had a built-in Starbucks.
Nanette, I'm going to cut that part of it out where you said that you're cheap, and I'm going to make a short out of that. That's probably going to go viral. It's hard.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, I did the late night for a couple of years, and it worked well with my school schedule. You know, when I was
Right.
much, much younger, I could never do it now. But it gives you certain opportunities. DNA, thanks for joining us. But it also causes conflicts because, like, when you're up, everybody else is sleeping. When you're sleeping, everybody else is up. Has that ever been a problem? And how do you adjust to that?
Back when I was, working at McDonald's, which is why I got so much weight on me, I was there for years, and that was my third shift. And still to this day, I can do a third shift like it's nothing. It's so easy to do. And would it conflict with my work schedule and everything to like get out and like do phone stuff or go to groceries? No, because Walmart was always open 24 hours.
For
So
me, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it just didn't really bother me. And still to this day, it doesn't bother me. Like if I have to be up for work, I've got an alarm clock. And even my boss is like, well, how many alarm clocks you got? I go, just one. He's like, is that on your phone? I go, there's no alarm clock on my phone. He's like, look at your phone. Because he actually had to show me where it was because I never knew that there was an alarm clock on the phone because I don't use it.
Oh my gosh. That's the only thing I use. Like,
Yeah, I know
that's
everybody
my
does
only
it, but
alarm
it's
clock,
like,
yeah.
no, I don't use it. I have this alarm clock that I bought 5 or 6 years ago from Five Below, and it works just fine, perfectly.
You get used to it. It just works.
Yeah.
Brew City, is that in Milwaukee? Well, Brew City is Milwaukee, but are you in
Correct.
Milwaukee?
Yes,
Say
I'm
that
actually
again?
located in Milwaukee. The village I live in, which is in Milwaukee, it's called Greendale.
Oh,
There
you're
you
that
go.
close?
Anybody who's from Milwaukee or knows the Milwaukee area, I'm like right in Whitnell Park, Southridge Mall area, Botanical Gardens. That's right where I'm at.
He's that close to us.
Yeah, we're like
Wow.
neighbors. I could probably walk to your place. Well, it would
No,
take
you
me about
couldn't.
17 days, but
17 days.
when I worked later shifts, I liked it because I could do different things during the day. I could do
Right.
things like going and golfing, fishing. Nobody was on the lake at 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
But I tell you that is a grind. So hats off to you for being able to do that and do it well, I'm sure. So how does we kind of got into it a little bit, but how do the reptiles work into that? Do you have a schedule, or is it when you
I do have
time,
a schedule with their time frame, yes. So of course my best friend and business partner, Brian Spittle, which everybody knows, he's like my brother. He's like, you should probably get a timer, which I do because I'm so used to just turning the lights on exactly at 8 o'clock and then exactly at night, turn them off right around 10:30. And so the timers, they do it for me, and I'm like, this alleviates some of the that time frame on me so that I can do other things because between dealing with the snakes, dealing with the rats, dealing with the geckos, I'm also watching TV. So that's kind of also my distraction. So that's kind of why I'm usually doing all my stuff until 1:30, because as soon as the news comes back on, I'm like dead straight on the news. And if it's something replay of the same thing, okay, go back to the reptiles. And I just deal with them, and I love it. It's just I have to constantly be moving because of my ADHD. So it works out just fine.
Yeah, but with work, do you ever find an issue where you can't get things done, and especially when you're working 7 days a week?
Oh, I get everything done too quick, calling my boss. Yeah, like during the normal week, I'm usually done by about 12:30, while everybody's done by like 3. So when I'm done at 12:30, I'm out there waiting till like 3:30, 4 o'clock to do my pickups that I have to do Monday through Friday. Like tomorrow is Friday, and my pickups get cut by half because the ones that aren't there, they're not open Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
So then those I'm just waiting until I gotta be there, and then I can't scan anything early because if I do, my boss gets charged $500. That's FedEx rules. You're early, you get charged. And if I'm there past that open window, my boss gets charged $500. So I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Do you deal? And thank you very much for your services. Thank you. We've had such great success with USPS, with UPS, with especially FedEx lately, especially with FedEx.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your service. That means a whole lot. Would you see? And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but
you are.
But I'm going to anyways. Do you ever look at the packages and try to guess what's in them, especially the ones that say live animals?
Live animals is more like your FedEx Express hub.
Yeah, you got to go to the hub.
Whereas I'm FedEx ground and home delivery. So I do businesses and houses. So like your Chewies, we deliver that. Your Wayfair, we deliver that. Amazon, we just picked up some of their big stuff because they're too weak to do it. So they said, hey, FedEx, can you take it? FedEx said, yeah, that's fine. So our volume went up about 20%. So to me, I don't care because I can do 190 on my shoulder like it's nothing and get this stuff done because it's extra money for me.
Wow. Excuse me, folks. A little tickle in my throat. 190 on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop tickling my throat.
Help.
190. So here's my terrible way of dealing with FedEx. So if we get something big coming in, they're like, oh my gosh, and get it to our porch. And then I'm kind of watching. Okay, it looks like they're leaving. And then I open the doors and lock them, and I kind of roll the package in. So
that's fine. You can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It just feels like you brought it all the way to my porch, and I have to move it, 3 feet into the door, and I have to roll it.
So
but that's the way it is.
Once in a blue moon, I'll get like a senior citizen, an old lady or man who can't really lift it. They say, hey, can you put it, in our back? Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it because I'm helping you out. I don't want to put you through the struggle. So yeah, I'll do it out of my kindness of my heart, and I'll do it. And it's like no problem.
Well, that's awfully nice of you, and that's way, way, way above and beyond. And one thing that we do, at least I do, is I'm here during the day. Something comes in, as long as I don't have to roll it into the house, if it's something that's coming in that I can carry in, I'll open the door and I'll thank the person. Or if I'm a little bit late because it takes me some time to come up the stairs because the dog's barking, so I get upstairs and it's FedEx or one of the other delivery services. I wave and I say thank you. So that I feel that's the least that we can do.
Right, and that's not a problem. And then especially during the Christmas season, oh yeah, there's all kinds of people giving us tips because they're ordering so much and it's kind of heavy. And I'm like, I don't care. It's Wisconsin. We got snow. Yes, deal with it. Do it. Get back in the truck. Get to the next stop because the sooner you move, the sooner you get to go home.
One more question, then we're going to get into reptiles. Do you guys ever take like a soft drink or water or something? Mm-hmm. Is that something that somebody would feel comfortable taking from a household like this?
Oh yeah, they do it all the time. They're like, hey, they have a little
Coolers.
box-like thing
Mhm.
with soda snacks, and there's a giant sign behind it saying, thank you for your hard work, Amazon, UPS, FedEx. Go ahead and take a snack or a drink. And if I'm not on a diet, usually I would take a soda or a snack. But usually, lately, since I'm trying to lose my weight, I usually just take either a bottle of water if there is one. Otherwise, I just leave it.
Nice, nice.
We
I
did
love that idea.
During COVID, I did a little bit of that with the deliveries that were coming in, but people had to be careful then too.
So did you just leave like a pitcher and okay, everybody just drink out of the same pitch? No, you wouldn't do that.
Just keep.
Okay, I'm going to do that cooler and just have soft drink and water and stuff like that. So Frank is saying, what's the sponsored drinks tonight? I'm drinking tea.
So my Angie already called me out because I'm not drinking my V8. I ran out. Actually, the last can, Angie, I picked it up this morning and it sits right outside the garage door. And when I picked it up, it was oozing out of the bottom of the can. I don't know if the can got hit or what, but it was like everywhere. It did not make me happy.
And then I'm drinking sparkling ice.
Oh, that's a good one.
Nice.
What flavor is that?
This is the
Blue.
watermelon lemonade.
Oh, all
that
right.
I'm
sounds
trying to
good.
get off of soda, so this is like the nugget, that sodium in the back of your throat. That's what that has, and there's no aspartame, which is why I'm drinking that more.
Yep.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then
That
blue
sounds good.
raspberry, and then
Yeah, the blue raspberry I like.
yes, I love that.
That sounds really good.
And then black raspberry, 3 of my favorite ones.
And black raspberry, just pour some blackberry brandy in there and you're all set. That sounds, oh my gosh. Can you get me one right now?
No.
Okay, reptiles.
Yes.
Give everybody a feel for what all animals you're keeping right now, Dustin.
Oh boy. I got Savannah monitors. I got a Nile monitor, black throat monitor, Asian water monitors, bearded dragons, black and white Argentine tegu, a red tegu, bull pythons, reticulated pythons, corn snakes, crested geckos, leeches, gargoyles, and I'm about to get my first chihuahua soon. And what else do I have? I've got millipedes, bearded dragons. I already said that. I got an Amazon tree boa that was actually donated to me. My friend couldn't take care of it anymore. He's like, "I'm moving. I don't want it. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Sure. All right." Let's see. I got the lychees. I already said that. I think that's really about it. Plus, there's a couple other things I'm working on getting that I want, but it's going to be more time-consuming to get the money because everything that I pay for comes from FedEx. So, obviously, whenever I sell like a reptile or do the pictures like I do with the reptiles, that money goes right back to my animals. I don't spend any of that money for myself. It's all them.
That's a huge collection. A huge collection. I also heard that you're now collecting dogs.
That was at Scott Smith's All Animal Expo, and my mom is obsessed with golden doodles. So as soon as I saw the puppy, I'm like, "Hey, Mom, guess what I got?" I was afraid to just sit there and go, "I want that," but then she's like, "That's puppy mills. Do not get it." I'm like, "Yeah, that's true."
I heard also that you're keeping another animal that I hate to even do this because Nanette is going to be interested and she's going to go nuts over this.
Oh, yes. My friend owns a farm and he's got all these baby goats. That thing was the cutest thing I've ever held because you could not put it down without it screaming, going, "Brrr," or however they make the sound. So every time you would pick it up, it would be quiet. So I'm like, "Oh, come on. I can't do this." And Ashley's like, "Yeah, it's the cutest one we got." I'm like, "If I steal this, you know where I live and you know where I work." She's like, "Unfortunately, I do."
So why don't you go out and get like a herd of them? Is that what it's called? A herd of goats?
I guess you could say that. A herd of goats. I think that's what they call it. I don't have enough property yet, but yeah, that's Kit Kat the bearded dragon.
Oh,
yeah, he actually just turned 4 not too long ago.
I had a difficult time going through your pictures to find out. I kind of knew what you were keeping, but to try to find the pictures of the animals that you were keeping, I had a hard time because there were so many pictures. Let me see if I can do this just real quick, Dustin. There were so many pictures like this, and it just ate at my heart. And we're going to talk about this. It ate at my heart seeing the pictures of the people holding your animals and their expressions. And so I saved about 463 pictures that we'll be going through right now, one at a time.
Yep, that's Halloween.
Say that again.
His name is Halloween.
Oh, and what is it?
So it's a ball python, and his actual morph is a pied hat candy. And of course, candy reminds me of Halloween, which is how I got the name.
Oh, perfect. And what is this for? Are you showing these? Are you letting people handle them?
Oh yeah, people. So I sit there and I say, I do the pictures where it's $5 per person per reptile, and if you want to hold it, I educate you on that animal, what the requirement is for caging, how they're feeding, lighting, if you want to put it in an enclosure. A lot of people actually have snakes and they actually have a snake rack. So I'm like, oh, okay, so then you don't really need any education, but then they'll ask me other questions about reptiles, and I'm like, that's one of my favorite pictures. That's actually Crumble Cookie.
Is that Menominee Falls or?
Nope, that's right here in Greendale.
Okay. I pulled one picture. There were probably about 20 pictures, and the smiles on these people's face. So did you just go? Do they know you? And do they know?
Because before I did my diet, I was constantly there because they update their app every Sunday for that whole week of what they're gonna be having for cookies that week. Like this week, there's candy, there's Comer Apple, there's Chocolate Chunk, and all of these other ones. And like I said, since I'm trying to be on a diet, I can't have that, which sucks. But when I would go there, they're like, "Hey, we see you on Facebook and everything with Halloween and Kit Kat. Could you bring Halloween?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm only like 2 minutes away." I go home, come back, and the entire team wanted to take a picture. So I'm like, "All right, this is awesome."
Oh my gosh,
That's cool.
Were any of them a little bit, I don't want to say afraid, but apprehensive, a little leery?
Oh, absolutely not. No, they're like, "This is the coolest thing ever."
Gosh, I wish we could do more of that. I wish people would do more of this, sharing with animals like snakes that people are normally a little bit apprehensive about holding. That is so cool.
Right. And so when people are kind of afraid or skittish, I say, well, if you want to, I can have you touch the tail just so you can see what it feels like. And 95% of the time, they do. And they're like, "Okay, that's all I want to do." I'm like, "Well, that's fine. At least you got to touch the tail, and I'm cool with that."
We do the same thing at shows, reptile shows. We're going to talk more about reptile shows in a minute, but we do the same thing. We see mom and dad kind of take that step back, and the kids, "Can I touch it? Can I touch it?" Well, sure. Yep. Kids touch it, and mom and dad see that, and then we do the "Mom, Dad, would you like? I'm going to hold it right here. Would you just like to touch the tail?" If that's all that you want to do, that's cool.
Exactly.
And many times,
that's what I like to call the slow approach. That's what I like to call it.
Yes. Just that. Oh my gosh, this tail, it's not that bad. I guess I actually touched it. And then all of a sudden, sometimes they're holding the animal.
Yeah, and the last expo that I did, a lady didn't want to hold it, but she wanted to touch it. So I said, okay, I opened up the bin because it was Halloween, and she touched it, and she goes, "This was actually my first time touching a snake." I'm like, "Well, congratulations, there you go. See, they're not so bad." She's like, "No, they're not bad. They're not slimy like I thought they were." I go, "That's a myth. They're not slimy. The only thing that's slimy is your actual hand. They're not slimy. They're just kind of slick and a little bit scaly. That's what they are."
And it's such a information about that. Our one of the first shows that we did in Janesville, my sister-in-law came, and she is horribly afraid of snakes. And she actually, we had a friend come over. I can't remember who it was, but she actually, I don't know if she held the snake, but at least held the tail, right?
Right.
That's a huge step for people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Huge. I'm going to repeat myself here, but I love these pictures that you have of families.
That picture is actually the very first time that Fang Fest was actually doing their expo, and it was right before the VIP expo was going on. The whole group of people who were basically helping to set things up in the lunchroom and organizing everything, they wanted to get a picture taken. I said, all right, yeah, absolutely. So that's that picture.
Outstanding. But the look on everybody's face, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, bringing people together. This guy looks a little familiar to me.
He is actually the owner of Nerd.
So how did you get a picture with this is Kevin, right?
Yes, sir. That is Kevin, and that was actually at the latest NARBC in Tinley Park. He was standing there. I'm like, are you cool if I can get a picture? He's like, he goes, yeah, absolutely, dude. So we did, and he did that. I'm like, thank you very much for that. He's like, yeah, absolutely. It's not about, the fame and everything. You're respectful. You actually asked instead of just doing it. I'm like, that's what it's all about, the respect. I'm asking, you said yes, and there you go. That's cool.
How cool is that? I've talked to Kevin in passing. Hi, how are you doing? Good luck with the show.
Super down to earth.
And I've always been the fanboy, and oh my gosh, I don't want to interrupt them. And
right, exactly.
I tell you what, though, Dustin, you take probably one of the best selfies I have ever seen. You're always smiling. You're always enthusiastic. It's so much fun to see you with people.
Yeah,
and again,
as Brian likes to say, I'm the cool gay guy because I'm just so outgoing. I'm so cool, so down to earth. I'm very approachable. You can ask me anything about reptiles, and I can do the best of my ability with information about that reptile. And it's just with my ADHD, it's just I'm naturally down to earth.
I think of all the pictures that I scanned, and I probably again scanned off of your page. I took a look at well over 200-300 pictures. This might be the only one where I saw somebody being a little bit apprehensive. And I don't
watching to see.
He's watching. He's curious.
So that picture, that was actually done at a birthday party. So this person and his whole family, the father setting up this birthday party, he lives right down the block from me. And so when there was about, I'd say probably 35 people, he thought it was actually about to jump on his face. That's why he's going like this, like, is it about to jump? And I'm like, oh, no, he's fine. He's just going to stay on his shoulder. And that's actually the male, which I still have, my one pair that started it all with all the Crusted Geckos I have. That's the Harlequin. That's Brownie.
Oh, how cool. And did this person, this youth, kind of warm up to the thought of this Crusted Gecko by the end?
Oh yeah, he's like, Dad, I want to get one of these. He's like, okay, I'll get in touch with you. And then sure enough, they actually bought a small baby off me. And still to this day, he has it. He walks around his front yard with it and everything. I'm like, yes.
Yes. That's it right there. That's winning. All the way around.
So this is another Tinley. So there's a guy there he's got the giant anaconda.
Yes.
So freaking cool. And that's the lady that works with him. And they're always at Tinley doing pictures with, they named it the dude from Thor's brother. What's his name? Loki. That's it.
Loki. Oh, sure. My son would have known that just like that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. It takes me a little bit of time because there's so many names that I go through. So,
and of course,
Discovery. She's super cool, super down to earth.
We've had the fortune to meet Emily a couple of times, and just the nicest person. She is what she is on YouTube. Crystal just adores her.
This is actually at Schaumburg 2 years ago.
Nice. Yeah, if I ask Crystal, our granddaughter, who's your favorite YouTuber? Well, Emily, of course. So
nice.
Where does Grandpa rank? And she
I was just about to say, where do you rank in this?
She has to think for a while, and I think right now I've made it all the way up to number 6, so that's not too bad.
No, that's not bad.
You're top 10.
I'm top 10, so that's not bad. Are you still doing that? You know, showing your picture. I don't know how to phrase this, but showing your animals at shows. I know you're so busy behind the table. I don't know how you would have time.
I'm in the process of getting insurance, which is what Brittany and Dylan, who run Skilled Up, they want me to have insurance, and I'm like, okay, that makes more sense because of all the handling that goes on with
Yep.
the pictures. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So with me getting the insurance, which I'm about to get, I will be getting that. Once I obtain that, that's when I can show it to Brittany and Dylan, saying, hey, I got the insurance. I can still do the pictures because I like to be able to do not only the pictures, but sell the cork bark, sell the rat food, sell the snakes, sell the lizards, everything.
Um, it's hard. It's hard. One of our first couple of years that we were doing reptile shows, this is going back 25 years ago, and this is your show. I don't want to take over your show with this story, but some little girl got bit by a leopard gecko right on the the meaty part of her finger right here.
Really?
And it bled a little bit. And I felt that it was
animal?
Yeah,
Oh.
one of our little leopard. It wasn't but probably about a 4 or 5 month old animal. It just caught her and little tears. And Dad, it's okay. She's fine. It tore my heart out. And I was that close to stop doing shows.
Right.
And you'd think, snakes certainly, bigger animals certainly, bearded dragons maybe, but crusted geckos and leopard geckos, but still, right?
Right. I haven't heard any stories of that, but I know that they always bring up Brian because he's got so many geckos, like chewies and crusted geckos. He actually has a crusted gecko that likes to launch at his face every time he goes into the enclosure. And it's the funniest things. I'm like, Brian, what did you do to this thing? He's like, I didn't do anything. It's like a demon child. It doesn't like being touched. So I'm like, okay. So then here comes Abby, his daughter, which I look at as like a little sister. She goes in there, picks it right up, and I'm like, Brian, how did she do that? Well, like, what's the deal with this? He goes, I don't know. He likes her, but it will not go towards anybody else. And that's why he's keeping it as a pair, because he doesn't want to sell it and have somebody, have lunge at them or anything. So, yeah, and I think he has a Chihuahua that does the same thing, that it launches at people. And I'm like, that is funny because I've never heard of an actual chewy or crusty jumping at somebody just because they want to. But they have another Chihuahua that every time you open up the cage, it jumps at them because it's that friendly. It just crawls up on the shoulder and just stays there.
And that's what it does.
Yeah. And it's like different personalities, two different worlds. Like, okay, that's cool.
Well, people ask me all the time, a table full of crusted geckos, which ones are calm and which ones would do well with our family. And my answer is typically, well, they all have different personalities.
Yes, absolutely.
All of these can be handled. All of these will be tamed down. If I have one that's a little bit older, that has been a little nasty, I always go in, it's a crusted gecko, and I always have one or two like this because we have so many. Open the enclosure and right away, the mouth comes open. And if I have one like that, I always, before somebody even looks at it, before they pick it up, I'll say, well, that one's a little ornery. So if you're, if you want something that you can handle, you might want to look at a different animal than that one.
Right. Always giving them that pre-warning is the best route to go.
Yes. But they're all different. They all have different personalities.
Absolutely.
Got some great comments. Hey, Derek, thanks for joining us here. Tell us, and you just did a little bit, but I want to kind of emphasize this. You do reptile shows.
Yes.
Tell us about, give us a history of how you started doing reptile shows all the way up to current and what you're currently selling.
So, I first started doing shows, like going to them. My first actual reptile show was Sewerfest, and I was just blown away at how awesome things were, because I'm realizing it's not a pet shop. It's actually vendors who actually take the time to actually handle these guys, and they're super friendly. Like nothing's wild caught, nothing's vicious, like hardcore vicious, because obviously they're not going to bring it to a show. And then once I started doing that, I started, having a couple snakes with me. I had ASFs, and that's from a friend of mine who said, "Hey, you need to start doing this. These are cool." And that's how I met Brian, because Brian was actually looking for ASFs. I sat there and met up with him at Southern Mall, and that's how it started with everything. Because he's telling me about ball pythons. Like, I like ball pythons. I thought they were cool, but I didn't want to deal with them because I knew how the myth of every single one of them was very finicky, picky eaters. Like they only wanted to have a mouse with a black dot on them, or they wanted to have, a mouse with a brown dot on them. And he was basically saying, no, that's not true. And he started showing me his ball pythons, because he had like 15 at the time and I only had 2. And his collection grew, but he was showing me it's an all white rat. Put it in there, bam, snapped right on it real quick. I'm like, huh, okay. So then I started doing my own collection and building up from there and so forth. And then he started doing these shows like Scaled Up and Janesville Show Me. And from that point, I would go to visit him and see how things were. And he would sit there and say, "Hey, do you have any snakes you want me to sell for you so that you can make some kind of cash while you're at FedEx?" I said, okay, did a couple. And he goes, "You need to get into these shows because you have a lot of snakes right now that you kind of don't need to get into anymore because it's old. Get rid of these and stick with these." So I sat there and did. And my very first show was Scaled Up Reptile Expo in Rothschild, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I
Was
have
that
that
the first?
picture, and it's somewhere in my file. But yeah, it was like the best experience having to be there. And I had to wake up early because Rothschild is 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oops.
Oh,
I think we just lost Dustin. He'll be back in just a second. I wanted to show this
Yeah.
picture again. And again, Dustin is into a lot of different animals.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, someone was trying to call me. I didn't want to answer it, so yeah. So that took off, and then Brian comes over here and he sees how red I am because I'm on kind of like a water pill is for blood pressure because I'm elevated. I'm not fully at blood pressure, but it was elevated. And so I'm like, oh wait, you said that. So I took my medication right there, and right away I started calming down and started telling people, and people that day I sold 13 ball pythons. I'm like,
Yes.
this is freaking cool. This is amazing. So that's how that started. And then he started having to say, you need a female Crusted Gecko for your one male. Got one. And then that's when that all started blooming with the Crusted Geckos. So right now I've got one pair. No, I got 3 pairs and a bunch of babies right now. So,
Nice.
oh yeah. And then once I started eliminating some of my snake count, I went up to Dylan and Brittany, and I'm like, hey, would you be cool if I can do pictures? And this is when I was actually at Rothschild. And he's like, yeah, that's cool, just as long as nothing's vicious or mean. And that's how that started. And then I started doing pictures at Green Bay. And so it kind of took off, and I'm like, I don't want to do just pictures. I want to be able to do both pictures and selling a product. Because in that way, I'm not targeting just one group of people. It's grouping up everybody. So that's how that started.
Well, but you're also on your table, you're also selling not just animals, you're selling supplies too. And I think that that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize, I probably say this, Dustin, every single show. If we're in a live stream, if we talk shows, I bet you 100% of the time I'm saying diversify.
Yes, exactly. And that's key. Diversify your stuff.
Yes. So doing the pictures, great. Doing the hard goods, great. Doing the animals, great. And some shows, I'm sure that you can confirm this. Some shows you might not sell animals. You might sell a lot of hard goods. And other shows you might not sell hard goods. You might sell just animals.
Exactly. Yes.
Tell us why you selected the hard goods that you're selling.
The hard goods, because I realized nobody was doing it, and I was having a lot of customers saying, "Do you know anybody who's selling rat food? Because I've got a lot of rats that I have, but nobody sells it." So I'm like, okay, there's my opportunity to start selling, Missouri. And then I started having people saying, "Do you have anybody here who sells the Reptile chip or the Coca Block or any of the supplies for bedding?" I go, "No, there's nobody here, but." I kind of didn't want to do it, but I'm like, you might want to go on to like Amazon or Petco, PetSmart, or Pet World, and which I didn't want to do because they're overly priced, and that's why I didn't want to kind of mention them. So that's when I started saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to start selling it." And I have people constantly, even after the show, saying, "Hey, I need some Reptile chip. Do you have any?" "Yes, I do. I can meet up with you or meet up with you halfway and then go from there." And so I do.
Yes, yes. Very interesting. When we started selling, well, back a long, long time ago, it was Repashy. We would generally do a show down in Chicago, Scott Smith's, or another show, Lake County. And we would typically meet one or two people every show. "Well, I can't make it to the show, but can you stop at the McDonald's on Highway 50? And sure, no problem. It's not out of our way.
Right, exactly. It's helping out the customer, plus it's the respect of saying, "Thank you for buying it from me. Yes, I can help you out too as well."
Yes.
Right,
And it gets your name out there. I mean, to get that constant, again, if you're selling here and there outside of the show, that's perfect. Perfect. I'm looking at this picture and I see some cork bark, which everybody needs cork bark. Seriously, I go to a show and the first thing that I'm looking for is cork bark. And I can't tell what's behind this picture.
That would be Halloween or a Kit Kat.
Okay. And then I don't. Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the Reptile chips?
Yep. The burger.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Reptile chip. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. How have you thought about? And you've got 2 tables here. That's a lot of supplies to cart around to these reptile shows. Have you thought about even doing other things, other animals, other supplies?
Give me 1 second, because
no problem.
Come here. This is one animal I forgot to mention.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
He's my little brat.
Oh my gosh.
It's a silver crested cockatoo. I also have a blue and gold macaw. But yeah, she's one of my little brats. I want to expand more to do like other products, like start doing vivariums, start doing paludariums, do all kinds of stuff that people can use for like their crusted geckos, their dart frogs, and just expand better. I don't want to go full blown having like 13 tables or anything, but I like to have a decent amount of everything that people can say, "Oh, you have this, okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you want me to do a custom build, I can. Just reach out to me and we can talk about what size enclosure you want, what kind of plants, what you're going to be using it for." And yeah.
And that would be interesting. I can see you branching out to do those custom builds, because that seems to be the wave that we're on right now. Everybody wants bioactive. Everybody wants the cool bells and whistles. And, when I was growing up in the reptile world, it was all about, I have 600 enclosures, and it's not that way anymore. It's I have 3 and they're just perfect. So I can see that being just a huge play on your table, having, one enclosure and saying, can build your own or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm actually looking at the first one right here that I first built. I had so much fun with it, and I like I said, I don't make money off of the animals. Whenever that money gets collected, it goes to them. So I'm living off of everything off of FedEx. So when I have that money, I sit there and go, "Okay, I can buy this now. I can buy that now," and then start working. Like I recently just spent some money on. It's a hexagon, which is right here. I'm going to be doing that build. I have all the false bottoms or the 8 crate put in there, and I went to Aquatics Limited, which is in Greenfield, West Dallas, and I bought the filtration there and the filter, so now I can actually do like a waterfall feature and do all kinds of cool stuff with that.
So would you have fish in there as well?
If it was a paludarium, I would do like little guppies. because they don't really get too big.
Yeah.
And my older brother, who's a lawyer, he wants me to actually build him a paludarium because he saw Halloween crabs and he's like, these are really cool. I go, careful because then not a whole lot of people breed those. If you get some, depends on who you go through. They could be wild caught, and make sure they're treated because otherwise they're gonna die really quick.
Yes. Guppies are, if I could throw my 2 cents in, guppies are really super cool in paludariums, but white clouds are another fish that work really, really well.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah. And my favorite is rice fish. Rice fish are a little bit more expensive, but when you look
Rice
at them
fish.
from the top, they glow. Their backs glow. Rice fish.
Oh, that's
are
a new
super
one.
cool.
I never heard of that one
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, a lot of fun that you can do with paludariums. You can do all kinds of things.
Okay.
I love the idea that you're kind of thinking these different routes out. How about animals? Are you thinking about diversifying with animals? I know you said just now millipedes and other maybe
Yeah, I've
inverts.
got millipedes. I got one Vietnamese centipede that I got from a guy at Sewerfest, and it's about this big. I don't obviously handle it because if you get bit, it's gonna knock you right in your butt, and I'm not looking forward to doing that. So whenever I have to feed it, I open up the enclosure and give it, a rat, or I should say, an adult mouse because of how big it is. And sometimes I'll give it a cockroach because I have a lot of dubia roaches. But I give it right in front of its face, and I could walk away for 4 hours and it's gone. And it's like, yeah.
Are you thinking about kind of branching out with feeders a little bit?
I would like to do that with the frozen feeders a little bit. I don't want to go full blown like Ronin Pro or anything because obviously I don't have the space. But if I did, I'd have a good decent amount. But I'm starting off slow, and as customers come in, they let me know what they need, and then I'll start doing that group and then expand that way. So if I could have like a good freezer, a good decent sized one chest freezer full of
Yeah.
everything, then okay, cool. And then if you want me to do something like outside of work, saying, hey, we had the show on Sunday, and yet there's nothing going on for 2 months, they reach out to me saying, hey, do you have this available? Yes, I do. Let's meet up and then go from there.
He's the Energizer Bunny.
Did you hear Nanette?
No,
She
what'd you
said-
say?
She said you're the Energizer Bunny.
Oh, yes,
I'm
thank you.
getting
I love
tired
that.
just sitting here.
That was one of my nicknames in high school, was the Energizer Bunny.
I love it.
Wouldn't doubt it. Wow. I'm like
And I would
tired.
call it Double D, D Money, D Smack, Dobbers because of my name Dobbs, which a lot of people spell wrong. They always spell it D-O-B-B-S. It's like, no, it's D-O-B-S.
I can't do that. I'm going to have to call you Starbucks.
Oh, that'd be freaking phenomenal. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm going to have to give you a nickname of Joe Dirt.
Ah! Oh, yes, that picture. That was when I was actually turning my hair blue, I want to say, for Autism Awareness Month.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
I remember
that's
that. That
cool.
was cool. Very
And then I
cool.
also did my hair pink because that was for October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness
Yep.
Month.
Oh my gosh. What a valuable person you are in the community, just to bring this joy and awareness. I can't thank you enough. But I don't know if Joe Dirt is going to stick, but maybe Starbucks will. I think
Oh, yeah,
that might
Starbucks
be.
will, yeah. And like some of my close friends, because, I'm gay and everything, and I'm open about it, a lot of the girls or the guys who I'm really close with, they'll be like, hey, bitch. And that's like my one line is, hey, bitch. And that's just how I talk. And oh, yeah, it's super fun. Like, everybody's like, did you just call him a bitch? And the people will be like, no, it's because he's gay. That's how he talks. And it's like, oh, okay. And a lot of people are like, wait, are you sure? It's like, I'm sorry I don't come off as one, but yes, I am. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm totally cool with it. Whatever. It's cool. And it's like that. Thank you. That's the respect right there.
I think of everybody that knows you at these reptile shows, I don't think anybody could ever think of you as anything as far as being rude or negative or
Oh,
or
no,
any of that.
it's no, you can't be. It's all about respect because then they respect you. And then that's how it always goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you thinking about branching out from reptile shows, maybe doing other states? Do
I
you
have
do?
actually done other states. Yes, I have
Okay.
actually done a couple times. I've done Scott Smith's All Animal Expo, and I've
Okay.
also done Show Me Reptiles, but in Iowa.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I
I
didn't
did
know they
Dubuque,
had one.
Iowa, and it was their very first time being in Dubuque, and it was phenomenal. I had an entire line from the VIP till about 15 minutes before they closed the doors. I've never had a line that big, and they gave me a little trophy because they're like, "You were super busy." I'm like, I've never done that much before because it was the pictures. I had the snakes with me, the lizards, the cork bark, and I did really good.
wow.
I didn't know
That
they had
is
one in
very
Dubuque.
interesting. We did the Jim Stelflug shows in Des Moines, but
Okay.
this is how many years ago? 8, 10 years
A
ago,
long time ago.
and did fantastic. We just
when I got
it's a
pulled
long
over.
drive. Yeah, it's when you got pulled over,
Mhm.
Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Um, but we haven't gone back for some reason.
No
I think we just
ticket,
got
though.
full. Yeah. Well, you cried, and
I did not.
that didn't work, so I
He
cried,
says
and
he
that worked.
cried. That's great.
I did not.
Laura is asking, no chameleons?
I've never really branched out to chameleons. I'd have to do more research on what's popular that everybody wants. Learn how to identify the male from a female, the breeding cycles, the temperatures, because obviously some reptiles require the exact right temperature, humidity, atmosphere in order to breed. And if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to have a successful clutch of eggs and even incubating. Like they could be different from ball python eggs. I got some right there. I set mine at 89 degrees. They could be at 72 degrees in order to hatch. I can't do that with one incubator that's already doing 89. So I'd have to really take my time, do the research, figure out how to do this, ask questions from other vendors as to how they do their stuff. It's all about questioning and research.
It's oh my gosh, I don't want to get into a long story, but when I started, actually my very first animals were chameleons, and I loved them, and I would do them again. I think that they're simply amazing animals. They're out all the time. They seem to recognize you. The only problem is that I got into the breeding end and had some really red, if anybody knows Tamatovs, panther chameleons, and they were
Okay.
super, super, super red.
Oh yeah.
As red as my hat, actually. The only problem is I got into breeding, and we're breeding, we're doing great, and we were selling them all over the place. The problem was that the females were lasting about 2 years, and at one point hatching and lost a female, lost a female, lost a female, and it was like, all I am is a chameleon factory. I'm not giving these animals, and again, this is 25 years ago, I'm not giving these animals the right care. They're dying, but that's what happens in nature. They breed
Right.
1 season, 2 seasons, and then they're gone. I just didn't feel right, and I had to move away from there. But seriously, folks, chameleons are unbelievably cool. If you have a comment in that, go ahead and post it.
You're not keeping up.
I am not keeping up, and I
Nope.
just lost my light.
It's 7 o'clock.
I love you guys.
I think this just this
I
one
think
went
it
out.
went up. Did it go up?
Yeah, that's okay.
No, I mean, did the thing go up? I'm lagging.
But yeah, there's a guy
Yeah.
at Scaled Up. I can't think of his name. He's always got the hat on. He's got the glasses. He's kind of older, but
Yes.
he's got gorgeous chameleons.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I can't think of his name either. He's got crystal hooked on him.
Yes.
Oh, he's super down to earth. Knows how to keep a good conversation. Very, very well informed with what he's doing with his chameleons, and it's just downright awesome.
Mm-hmm. They just climb on the trees.
Yes.
He has the perfect setup for them. At a
Yes.
reptile show, he takes a lot of time. He gets there super early.
It's
Takes
Gary.
a lot. What is it?
Gary.
It's Gary. Who said
Katie
Gary?
said that.
Cool.
Yes, that's it.
And knows his stuff and is willing to talk, which is super cool. Yeah, he almost had Crystal buying one the last show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
he
had to
also
ask
sells them
that
in
to
like
be
the little
next year's
eggs
one.
and then just give it time and they actually hatch out. So
Yes. Yeah, chameleons are super cool. You can get them, really small ones. You can get super big, but
Yep.
even the Vales and the Jacksons are super cool.
The one pet store that I will actually recommend people going to, because he only deals with captive bred, is if you don't want to wait for a pet store, go to captive bred specialties. The owner is Ryan Hill. He's actually out in Waukesha. Super down there
Phenomenal.
guy. Completely been doing reptiles since, I think he's been doing reptiles for 25, 30 years. He breeds his own ball pythons. He breeds his own bearded dragons, and he only deals with captive bred.
Yes.
He's another Energizer bunny.
Oh,
Ryan,
yes.
Ryan is an Energizer buddy. Ryan is the type of person that if you said, "Hey, Ryan, what time is it?" An hour later, you would know exactly how the watch worked.
Yes. He's very informative. He doesn't, cut the chase and try to get your money in. He's from A to Z, all information, so you know what you're getting your hands onto before you actually buy that animal. And he'll sit there and show you exactly how to do things, how cool something is, and then there you go.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to get back to shows real quick. I'm going to divert a little bit on the
Sure.
conversation here. Sorry about that. But for
You're
shows, you started off. How familiar were you with doing the shows when you did your very first one? And what kind of tips would you offer everybody if they're thinking about doing a reptile show for the first time?
Doing my very first show, there's a lot of things I was not prepared to do. That kind of like, oh, I guess I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot to do that. When you do a show, make sure you're 100% prepared, because it could be busy or it could be slow. But make sure you have all your stuff. Business cards. Make sure you have your name out there, like the background, having it whatever you want to be. And then make sure you have your square reader ready. If you don't have one, get one, because it's like 95% of the time people have got a card. Very seldomly, I've noticed people don't do cash, really. It's all card, or it's Cash App, or it's PayPal. That's what everybody's using. So make sure you have your Square card reader set up to link to your bank, because if you don't, you're just going to be having that money just sitting out in space somewhere till you link up your account. Make sure you got your business cards, because if somebody says, "Do you have a card?" and you say, "Oh, not really," however, how's anybody going to get a hold of you?
Yes. Dustin, that point about business cards, it's kind of an assumed, oh, if you do a show, you need business cards. But
There's a lot of people that don't do them.
There's a lot of people that don't do them, and they really should. But you put it in the right way, in that, you could be busy, you could be not busy. If you're not busy, the one thing that you want people to do is take your name away from the show. Like, I'm not ready to buy today. I'm not ready to buy feeders today, but boy, now that I have this business card with me, I know who to contact when I do need that.
Because they'd be like, if you're not ready today, that's fine. You can always reach out to me at any time. I do like to travel, which is what I do say is I like to travel. I can always meet up with you halfway. Here's my business card. It's double-sided, which it is. Contact me, and we can go from there. And they're like, oh, all right, thank you. That's appreciated. Absolutely.
Yes. Brad is saying stickers are better than business cards. And
Brad, do you mean like a business card sticker or just a sticker with your name and info?
That's interesting, because I've tried for years now, RC codes and scan and get all of my, bio link and all my store, my Instagram, my TikTok, and watch me dance, and nobody scans. Nobody likes doing the scanning. So I'm kind of interested in that sticker idea, company logo stickers. Okay.
I'm actually in the process of getting company stickers that when people want to take one and put it on their incubator, they have it. So I'm going through Minuteman Press, and for like 1,000 stickers, they only want like $200. So I'm like, that's not a bad deal at all for 1,000 stickers.
Oh my gosh, Nikki.
Yeah, I know.
Hooked on Geckos. She would have, if she was watching here, she would have just pooped her pants if I didn't know that. Hooked on stickers, hooked on geckos. Nikki Underwood. does stickers, and she does them very reasonably. I have a couple of names if you want to check out. Just contact me
Sure,
afterwards,
yeah, I can
'cause
do
I'll
that.
forget.
What's the other one? Peaches. Patches. Oh my
Patches
gosh.
is the cat, but it's
Why am I
it's
going blank?
Chris and
Yes.
Jesse
Oh my gosh.
Crafts with Pudge.
Sure, yeah, I couldn't think.
So I've got a couple of names. I don't want to belabor, but number 2. You're on number 2
Uh,
on the drinks.
yeah. Lots of extra
Lone Star.
caffeine because there's a lot of caffeine.
Lone Star.
I was trying to think how many drinks did I have, but yeah, this is my second one. This is from like early when obviously when I'm at work, I have a whole cooler with me, so I've got like 9 drinks with me because it does get hot out because there's not really air conditioning in my truck.
Yes.
It's the windows down.
Come in.
Yes, absolutely. So TJ is asking, wait, what's the link for
Thank
you
you.
dancing? And nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see
me dance either because I'm a horrible dancer.
Lone Tree, I want to get this up on real quick. Also, make sure your business cards have a QR code to scan to. I prefer taking a picture of the business card and then just tapping on the QR code or website. That's super cool, Lone Tree Exotics, for sure. I just don't find many people wanting to do the scanning at our table. But we do have our QR code on our business cards. If anybody wants an example, maybe I'll post a picture of our business card out there so that you can see what all the information that we put on there. And I don't think that it's overcrowded, but
that's mixed because your younger kids, they'll sit there and they'll definitely, because they're always on their phone, they'll definitely sit there, click on it or scan in, click on it. Whereas the adults, they're like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. And then, yeah, so you got your adults who don't really do it, but then you got your kids who are like, oh yeah, here's a QR code. Click on it and then add, like, subscribe, and then yeah.
I hate QR codes.
See, Nanette hates them. I appreciate them because it just saves a lot of room. Mitzi is saying, I love stickers. I love magnets. I'm just the opposite. I have a bucket. I literally a bucket full of stickers and magnets, and I don't know what to do with them. I don't know where to put them. I could put them on incubators, but they kind of get lost downstairs. And guess who just showed up? Look at this.
Geckos.
Hooked on Geckos. So
I knew you were talking about them.
So yeah, I came up with that name right away. Hooked on Geckos for stickers. So we were talking about you. I've got to pull this one up. This is
through Etsy that has my QR code for PayPal, Cash, and Venmo. How many of you use Venmo for the shows? I'm curious, or use it personally. I think we're getting a storm.
I do. I'm in Green, though, so they said that there's supposed to be one coming through tonight. So
yeah, I can see it coming.
Yeah, I use Venmo. I use Cash App, PayPal. I did use Facebook Pay, but they got rid of it, so I don't use that no more. And then I use Square.
I only do Square and Cash at the show.
Yeah, we used to do PayPal, and we would get maybe one person, and you had to have it set up. And
I do the obvious cash, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What's another tip? Let's talk about another tip for new show people considering doing shows. Anything else that you'd think about?
Another tip I would probably say is just don't be overwhelmed thinking that it's going to go crazy. It's not like doing a huge festival of like 150,000 people. It's just a normal crowd. And most of the time, you're going to get people looking at your stuff and then just go by. And if somebody's really interested, they're going to come back, or they're going to be really analyzing what's going on and then just say, hi, you looking for anything in particular? Can I help you with anything? You have any questions? Take your time, go slow, because by the time you get done doing all your stuff, it's going to be time to go.
Oh, man, good point. Really good point. How do you, this is a hard question because I know the answer, and you don't have a problem with it at all. It's people like me that are very introverted. If somebody came up to you, Dustin, and said, I'm thinking about doing my first show. I've watched you. You feel comfortable in front of everybody that you meet. That's not me. That's not me at all. So Dustin, tell me, I'm going to do my first show coming up in 2 weeks. How do I talk to people? How do I engage. Well, can you give me any suggestions? Because really, that's the number one thing, is that
Right.
engagement.
Exactly. I've seen some people who just don't really say anything much until the customer asks you a question and then you're engaging. That's okay if you're like that, but if you really want to engage, just say, hello, how's it going? That's simple. And then they sit there and say, oh yeah, no, I'm pretty good. How are you? Not too bad. Thanks for asking. And then it's a simple little chat. And if they have questions, then they can ask them. Otherwise, if some people are really outgoing, like me, I'll be like, hey, how's it going? I always engage with the kids, with the babies, say, hey, how's it going? You know, do you like reptiles too? Awesome. That's cool. And then the parents put a smile on their face. And a lot of the times they say, oh, is this a Crusted Gecko? I say, yes, it is. Or is this a bearded dragon? Or what's this? What's that? Like the logs. The last show I did, they say, what are these logs for? I tell them you can use them for spiders. You can use them for Crusted Geckos. You can use them for little geckos like your Velardes, also known as your Chameleon gecko. You can use them for whatever you want. There's people who use them for their isopods. And then just give all kinds of suggestions. So it's just a little chit chat to saying, hey, how's it going? Have any questions? Let me know. And then that's it.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm going to add in there. What are a couple? I'm going to ask Nanette. I'm going to shoot this over to Nanette. How do we engage with people, you know, for the first time? They're walking by, if they're just walking by and you can see that they're just kind of looking, do you like to see what we have? That's one thing. And we'll say, you know, good morning, good afternoon, welcome to the show, something like that. And maybe that will spur something. But if they're stopped, how do we engage people?
Most of the time it's, if you have any questions, let us know.
Yep.
And then we just kind of start asking if they have reptiles at home or not. And then we go from there.
That's a good
And
one.
like
yes.
you said, the kids, I got a ton of stickers on Temu. And I always make sure that I hand kids stickers free all the time. And then it just kind of makes everybody stop. Parents will see it and they'll stop and ask them. And then all of a sudden they're talking to us.
I wanted to pull up Lone Trees. Lone Tree, you can't just leave it at that. You have to say it like Joey. How you doing? Isn't that Joey?
From Scarface? Yeah.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, I don't know why I said Scarface for some reason. That's take a look at my little friend, or however it says that. How you doing?
How you doing? Say hello to my little. I'm going to use that next show. I'm going to use that, but I'm going to say it loud enough.
It's a
I'm going to say it loud enough.
I've never seen it.
JP.
I haven't. I've seen parts of it. I'm going to say it loud enough though that if you're halfway across the show room, you can hear me. Say hello to my little friend.
I should start saying that too. Say hello to my little friend.
JP said that the first time he met you, you told him to go away.
I did not. No, I probably
Other
did.
ones are saying, make sure you say hi at least as they're walking by. Slow down. They might slow down and look. If you engage and you get kids and really wants a reptile, if you can get the parents engaged, then they most likely will hold it, and that's golden. Agreed.
That I can agree to.
That's kind of hard though.
Gecko brought her daughter.
Yeah. Go ahead.
She attracted all kinds of people making sales and handing out all of her stickers because she doesn't like to talk to people either.
Lone Tree, game on. Game on. You and me, loudest at a reptile show. That's the hard part. And that mentioned something about kids, and it's when the kids want to buy an animal, especially hard goods, you know, I leave it up to mom and dad, but for animals, that's hard because kids want to buy, mom and dad don't necessarily want to buy. Now, if I see mom and dad are looking for an animal for their children, I can't more strongly suggest, you know, Crusted Geckos. And I'll talk with the parents all the way through that whole process. But if I see that they don't really want, you know, to buy, then I personally do not push that at all.
No, that's the worst business possible.
Right? Right. I think it's just, even if you know, they're pushed into it, mom and dad, by the kids, they're going to feel bad about it anyway. So
That's normally when I pull out the little
the
toys.
stickers and
Well,
toys.
the
And,
little
Yeah,
snake,
the
rubber
little
snakes
trinkets.
and all that junk.
yes, exactly.
Can you have this instead?
How about, have you ever had a difficult situation at a show, like kind of hard to work with somebody, or?
Trying to think. I kind of did actually, yes. It wasn't really any of my animals, but I had one person who had a snake that had a wobble, and I don't know who the vendor was, but they came out to me and they said, "You seem to kind of know a lot about your ball pythons. What is wrong with the snake?" I go,
Ooh.
"Okay, it's got a wobble," and the first thing that came to my mind was it's got a spider gene to it. So they sat there and said, did they tell you what kind of morphs were in this, or anything?" And they told me it was like an inchy pastel spider clown or something. I can't remember. It was like a 4
Okay.
gene. And I sat there and told myself, that's not good, because I'm like, they said that they told me that the vendor didn't tell them anything about the wobble. I'm like, a wobble's not exactly a good thing, because it makes it hard for them to eat, because they can't really strike at the rat or the mouse, depending on the size. And so I had to go tell Brittany and Dylan right away. And they talked with her and everything. And the vendor was actually gone by the time that happened. But Brittany was really, really upset, because she wanted that to be dealt with right away.
Yeah.
And before the vendor could go, because everyone was trying to pack up and everything. This happened at Fond du Lac. And I felt really bad for the customer, because I'm like, this is bad, because the vendor should have sat there and said, by the way, this does have a wobble. This is what a wobble is, before the customer even purchased it. Because maybe they decided to go, oh, well, then no, we don't want that, because if it's not going to be able to eat properly, then we don't want that. We want something we can actually hold. It's going to be cool, unique, show off to the friends and family. But at that point, it was just like, you spent it. There was nothing more on my end that I could do other than educate them on what the wobble was, that it's a genetic disorder. And yet, it's like, if I would have known who the vendor was, I would have been like, dude, this is kind of bad. You should have pre-warned them what, this is going on before they even buy it. And I've seen some vendors go, don't care. And I've just kind of like veered away from them and just don't talk with them no more.
God, what a great story. What a great story. And that's hard. If you're working with other vendors, everybody's going to make mistakes, right?
Oh, yeah,
I might
absolutely.
sell a leopard gecko and the person walks off and they come back and they tell me, another vendor looks at it and goes, oh, it only has 3 legs. What the heck is with Supreme Gecko? They come back and I didn't notice it. Well, God help me if I didn't notice it, but if I see something like that, I'm going to catch it and I'm going to go walk over to the vendor and talk to them and say, thank you so very much for catching that.
Right.
I'm going to share one more story and then I'll stop sharing stories. But
You're good.
A long time ago in Madison, I had a table about two tables down from another Crusted Gecko breeder. And I think there were only 3 Crusted Gecko breeders at the show. Imagine that at a show, only 3 Crusted Gecko breeders.
Oh, geez.
I sold a male. They walked over and I literally said, I don't have any ready to breed females, but this person over here, I'm going to be very conscious of the name and not say it, but this person over here, a couple of tables over, see the person that looks like this? They have females. They have wonderful animals. They go over there and the person looks at me and I give the thumbs up and good job. And about 15 minutes later, they come back and say, I have to get my money back for this male crusted. And I said, oh, why is that? Well, we have cats, and the person said we wanted to buy a female, and they wouldn't sell a female to us because we have cats. So since we can't have that female from that person, we have to get our money back from you for the male. So I obliged, but waited until after the show and kind of confronted the other vendor and said, that really has nothing to do with things. I understand your beliefs and everything, but boy, this is a touchy subject, and
Right.
we went back and forth a little bit, but nothing, serious. But
Right.
I made sure my point was clear, and that person made sure their point was clear. We agreed to disagree, and we moved on. But when you have that, you know, situation, that's always tough. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
tough one.
Any situation can be tough. It's just how you handle it that makes things a little bit more or less drama, and then just go on with whatever.
Ultimately, what I would want to say is that in our eyes, I hope the customer, by us giving back the money and taking the animal back, saw it as a positive, potentially a positive situation, coming to the
Right.
reptile show.
Right.
And maybe they found another animal that would be better suited for them.
Right.
Tricky.
Yeah, it can be, and I've had stories from Brian Spittle, obviously, which is like my brother, and he's had situations where it was more of an impulse buy, and they're contacting him 3-4 days later saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to buy this. My husband doesn't want it, so I'm looking at to bring it back." And he's just like, "What do I do with this?" I'm just like, "This is your situation, your thing. My opinion would be that you talk with the customer, see, if you can sit to say, I can give you 25% of the money back, but not the whole thing because it is, a sale. But at the same time, all sales are really final. Explain that to them and then go from there just to see how things go. Because yeah, the majority of the time, it is a sale that is once you buy it, that's it.
Yeah, that's another tricky one. We have started to put on our table, show policy and scan this for show policy. Have you been giving
I
out?
put those in
You
the
put it in every
bags.
bag. And this is the hardest thing for me to do as a vendor. Dustin, this is so hard for me to do,
Oh
but we've
yes, oh
made a
very much
commitment,
so.
and it literally is, you walk away from the table, the animal is yours,
Yeah,
because we've seen over and over
Mhm.
customers coming back in too hot or too cold situations with
right,
animals that haven't made it. And I want to talk, and I want to educate, and I want to confirm, and I want to make sure these animals are as safe as possible. But really,
right,
once you leave with that animal, I don't know what it's going through, and I
right.
unfortunately can't replace at that point.
Right, because you don't know what they did to it because they're not explaining to you what happened. The only story you know is my husband doesn't like it. Okay, well then if it comes back that it died on my end a day after I got it from you, what did you do to it that it had to die? Because all my animals are healthy and living and goes with you for a couple of days. Did you kind of not do something to the water? Did you underfeed it? Did you feed it right away? Which I always tell people, do not feed them right away. Give it at least a week, week and a half before
Mhm.
you feed the snake. If it's not
Yes.
eating, try a different technique. I've had people sit there and they went an entire month before they actually fed the snake, and it's like, okay, it's starting to eat now. Thank you very much. It's awesome. And I'm like, a month is a little bit of extreme in my opinion, but okay, at least it's 8 then. But yeah, it's still to this day they contact me with pictures saying that it's awesome. But it's like with Brian's situation, it's like I would tell him that all sales are final, but if I'm getting it back, I'll let you know what you were doing to it before I get it back. And so,
Mhm.
sure enough, the customer is like, "That's fine. I'll take 25% of my money because I'm having to have you go through all this BS of my end of having to buy an impulse. So I don't blame you. I'm sorry for all the whole confusion, but yes, I'll at least take 25% of the money back." And Brian agreed to it. They did their thing. That snake, he resold it to somebody else after having it re-quarantined for 30 days, and he sold it to somebody who actually really wanted the snake. And still to this day, they have the snake and it's doing really, really good right now.
Yes. That's the whole moral of the story. And I would add to it, to take away any confusion or any misreadings or any ill feelings.
Right,
Create a terms of service and have it spot on. Have somebody else that you respect in the hobby review it for you, and just take away all the loopholes and make it as um, as clear as you possibly can, and
Right.
then if there's a question, and we attach that to everything, we
Mhm.
attach terms of service to everything that we
And I do that
so-
with all my stuff too. If you buy a Crusted Gecko, I let them know all sales are final. Everything is 100% guaranteed perfect. If there is any questions, do hit me up. That way I can work with you so you can work on what's going on. That way you can keep the animal.
Yes.
Mhm.
You just don't want any ill feelings, and most
Oh,
importantly,
exactly.
you want the good care of the animals.
Right.
We do have a question. Does Dustin do a lot of educational shows around the area?
The Wisconsin, northern part of Illinois, and Ohio, yes, I do.
I'm trying to find a picture real quick, and
take your time.
let me see if I can show this. It seemed like the pictures that I was stealing from your your Facebook page, some of them were outdoors. Some
Yeah,
were
that was the
very
4th of July parade in Greendale,
perfect.
which he was a huge hit.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I forgot to get a picture of there was a group of older senior ladies. That's the football team. There's a group of seniors that are called the Dancing Grannies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Huge hit. They're like, oh my God, this is so cool. Even the
Oh,
police officer was like, we have somebody like you in Greendale? This is awesome. I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
yes. A little bit of recognition goes so far, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that these aren't educational, but I just wanted to show what you're doing in the community. Oh my gosh, you take such a great selfie.
Yeah, that's what the firefighters of Greendale, and they were like, holy cow, this is so cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everybody loved it. Everybody kept on saying, oh, what is this? What
Look.
kind of animal is this? And of course, I'm educating them, saying it's a ball python, where they come from, what they eat in captivity as I feed them. I can feed them once a week. Well, compared to my 11-foot reticulated python that I do, rabbits like once every 2 months. But yeah, everybody just was in love with Halloween.
I can see you doing educational programs and just doing such a great job. So
It's all about
thanks
the
for
conservation
sharing
work.
again.
It's all about the education, the proper care, letting people know what it is, how big they get, how long they can live, and what they eat. I've had people sit there and say, oh, yeah, both pythons are not for me because they don't want to deal with live rats. I said, well, you can always do frozen too. And they're like, that just seems so harsh. I'm like, okay, if that's what you feel, then okay, that's your opinion. No harm done.
Chris from Pudge just came in. She's been summoned.
Oh my gosh.
Angie, what are you doing
I'm
here?
gonna cover Brad's comment just real quick. Brad, you know Dustin. Dustin, you know Brad. You guys sit down
Brad.
and do a little sit down chit chat going there. So
Brad is in Gross Boys, Brad?
Brad
Danik and Gina. I'm sure you two have seen each other time and time and time again. Maybe
well, I'm
you don't know
naturally
each other by
horrible with
names.
names as it is.
Yeah, I am too. I really am.
Brad lives
So
close.
this is crazy that Chris came in. So you're going to have to watch from the beginning because we commented some really bad stuff about you.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we did. We said some nasty things.
We just couldn't.
Oh, good. I love rumors.
Angie, my job has been done. She's been summoning everybody here.
So
Yeah, so that's me at the hospital because my very first stop of the day, every day, is St. Mary's Hospital in downtown Milwaukee. So they just opened up a franchise Starbucks, and they're like, Dobbs, we know you like Starbucks. I'm like, yeah. They're like, come with us. I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, it's my good friend who's got me, and it was about like 5 other people employee-wise.
oh no,
he froze.
Dobbs is gone.
Too much Starbucks.
Oh, Brad, you haven't met with
they'll
Dustin
introduce
yet.
each other.
You guys are going to talk at the next Reptile show,
We got
and
another phone call.
yeah, you probably got a phone call from somebody
Starbucks.
here from Starbucks. Yeah, we'll wait for Dustin to get back on. It looks like he's joining here momentarily. Yeah, where are our waffles? And then you were supposed to make waffles for dinner tonight, and
You had your favorite thing tonight. One of them.
oh yeah, we did.
Quick and plain.
What
You
was
did.
that? What do you call
Shepherd's
that?
pie.
Shepherd's pie.
Crystal had chicken Alfredo.
Yeah, because she's special. She gets her own dinner.
It's because it's her favorite, and I didn't want to eat it.
I'm waiting,
Sorry,
waiting for
didn't even
Dustin
eat
to come
dinner.
back. You didn't eat dinner.
No, because when I went this afternoon and met my friend, we had Panera, and I had a salad, and it was way too much. It was huge. But I had some more for dessert from the microwave. That was good.
Angie wants waffles.
Well, Angie, Pick and Save is 3 minutes from your house.
All right, so yeah,
Starbucks.
another person tried. I'm sorry. So
No, you're fine.
What's that?
You're fine. You're fine.
We
Okay.
thought maybe you left and went to Starbucks.
Oh, I wish I could use another one. So basically, they have a new built-in Starbucks inside the hospital. So it was me, the guy who I'm really good friends with, and there's about 5 other employees. He ends up buying everybody a Starbucks. He spent like $60.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I took my normal. He's like, buy whatever you want. So I'm like, okay. I said a venti caramel frappuccino with an avocado shot of blonde espresso. He goes, what'd you just say? I go, and this is my friend saying this. I go, it's a venti caramel frappuccino
Okay.
with a blonde shot of espresso avocado. He goes, what the heck did you just say again? I go, venti, it's a size caramel frappuccino, which is what it, the type of drink it is.
Yep.
With a shot of blonde espresso. So there's regular espresso and then there's a blonde. Blonde is basically a very, very smooth texture of an espresso over the whipped cream, or some people have it blended in. I like to have it over the whipped cream, and it's called avocado. Because if you put it into the actual coffee itself, it turns soupy, and I don't want that.
Not avocado.
Yeah, avocado.
Brad, avocado? No.
I heard avocado as well, and I
No.
saw it pop up. I almost did a Jim Carrey scene, like where he starts throwing up.
Oh.
Not avocado.
Avocado and coffee. What?
Yeah, there's avocado
pickle
and there's
juice.
avocado.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah, plus they have like pistachio frappuccinos and everything else.
Oh.
This is why I have my own espresso machine, because I'm saving myself so much money by not going to Starbucks. The only time I go there is if there's a new drink that looks pretty interesting. I'll buy it the one time and then go right back to my machine. So if I tried it before, I won't buy it again.
We're getting all kinds of comments on the coffee people like here.
But you know what?
Gotcha.
What?
I only drink chai tea from Starbucks because I don't like coffee, period. Ever.
Chai teas, girl,
Chai
you got
tea
some flavor.
lattes. I used to do it when I did daycare like 30 plus years ago. I ran through Starbucks with the kids as we would be going out. And one day, one of the moms came in on my birthday and she brought me the scone, the blueberry scone. And she brought me a chai tea latte. And I looked at her and I said, how do you know? Her 4-year-old turned around and he says, because you always get a venti chai tea with 7 pumps of chai and 2 pumps of vanilla. And I just looked at her and I went, oh, I go to Starbucks too often with your kid. But I always got every birthday. That's what I got from them from then on.
My best friend Ashley spent $13,000 last year on Starbucks.
Oh, I don't. No.
Way.
I said, you what? And she's like, do not tell my boyfriend. Well, at the time it was a boyfriend. They're married now. And I'm like, your boyfriend is my best friend. He's going to sit there and he's going to question me. And I can't lie to him because he's going to know I'm lying.
Wow.
So he eventually, after about a month, goes, how much did she tell you she spent? I'm like, oh boy. He's like, is it that much? I'm like, so how about them Brewers? How about the Packers?
You want a new car?
You see that Brewer game, kid?
And she finally confessed, and I'm like, you must be there at least 5 times a day. She's obsessed with the refreshers. That's all she gets is those refreshers. And because they're teas. It's all it is tea. So she sits there and she'll get 4. She'll get a whole container, it's 4 cups, the largest she can get, and she'll go through them within about 3 hours. And then she'll do another what is it, Uber Eats or whatever,
That boldly thing.
delivery, whatever. So she'll get another one, another 4, and then it's just like, oh my God, Ashley, you're killing yourself here. Like, why? Get yourself a tea maker, do it yourself, and you'll spend so much less money. So she did end up buying one, and now she complains about how much money she's got and that she buys too many shoes now. So it's like,
and again, her full name, for the recording on YouTube is.
I'm not gonna sit there because the people are gonna go to her saying, "How could you spend that much money?" And I don't want to do that. All I'm gonna say is her name is Ashley. That's
Ashley.
it.
Okay.
She's gonna sit there and nail me if I give her last name. She's like, I can't believe you told people that story. Sorry, I had to.
You know what's funny is Frank convinced me about 6 months ago to turn off monetization for our lives. Frank, thank you very much, because this show alone, I probably could have made about $1,000 off of Starbucks for monetization.
I can see that.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate that. Love you.
JP said that they're too expensive, too sugary for him. He gets his coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. That's
Dunkin'
yours.
Donuts.
I
That's
can't
mine.
stand Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
The way that they do everything, it's just like your actual creamer shot in there, and then they don't really, blend it up at all. It's just the coffee, and everything just kind of does its thing. I'm like, no, I don't know. And then if you want to advertise on their board with the whipped cream, and I'm like, where's the whipped cream? Oh, that's 75 cents more. Then why is it advertised for that price on the board compared to me now asking it? Like, switched around? No, that's not how that works. Whatever I advertise, that's what I should be able to price it as that. So if I'm paying $3.75, it better come with the whipped cream because I'm not paying extra.
Look for lawn trees.
Absolutely.
And I said to them many times, I said, nope, bye, gone. I'll make my own at home.
What do I get from Dunkin'?
You get a large iced caramel macchiato. A nice caramel macchiato.
Triple shot avocado thermonuclear.
No, that's all you get. A large
iced
caramel macchiato.
I love that.
So I'm posting a couple of links here, and I know you said that we could go until 1:30 tonight, but I don't know. Frank would love that. Frank would go 24. I don't know if Nanette would love that.
No,
because...
I wouldn't love that. I'm tired tonight. Frank, somebody else said they go to Quick Trip because you can customize your own coffee.
Yeah.
That is true. That's true, and I've had the coffee, and it is very phenomenal. I love Quick Trip coffee. If I'm in a bind and I have no coffee with me, Quick Trip it is. Quick Trip, yes.
Absolutely.
I only go once a week, if that now.
To
and
Starbucks?
they don't get charged for using their whipped cream machine.
Their chai tea is not good.
I never done that. I've done the mocha, and that's what I go for.
Chai tea is not good. Quick Trip's iced coffee is the bomb. I love JP's message up here earlier. It comes, or Lone Star rather, or Lone Tree Exotics. I love how these conversations always branch off. We're here for reptiles, but we're talking coffee. Love it.
It is what it is.
Also, if anybody, whoever is following through, if you want to see my other content of my videos and whatnot, do please subscribe, like, and add me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Bruce and Morphs. It would mean the world to me. You can see everything on there.
Frank has been doing. Frank's such a wonderful moderator. He's been putting up those links. But folks, the links are all in the description of this video. Don't miss out, especially TikTok, and you can get more and more of Dustin. Actually, I said TikTok. I meant YouTube. TikTok's where you dance. So make sure that you subscribe to Dustin on TikTok and see him dance. Seriously, though, what else? What would you like to leave everybody with that has come to this show to see Dustin Dobs and your business and talk about shows? What would you like to leave everybody with?
Not related to Starbucks.
That things will get better with time with my business. I look forward to doing more. I look forward to expanding more. I can't wait to start actually having eggs from my chihuahuas when I get them, get my lychee eggs, my everything, just expanding my business. I look forward to actually people coming up to me saying, "Hey, I saw you on this. Can you give me information about this or that?" Yes, absolutely. It's just I love having to deal with reptiles. It's always been a thing of mine because before I even knew who Steve Irwin was, the crocodile hunter, I was sitting there looking, dealing with animals, and my mom turns on Animal Planet one day, and here's Steve Irwin dealing with alligators and snakes. I look up at her with bulging eyes, like, "Oh, this is what I want to do." Of course, she looks at me like, "No." Of course, I did it anyways. But it's just, if you have any issues regarding animals, of how to get into them, how to start something up, please reach out, and I have no problem coming to you, talking to you for hours about how to do something. It's what pays me is the education. Educating you on how to set something up. That's how I get paid. It's not about the selling of the animals. That money goes right back to the animals. It's the education. It's you saying, "You're very easy to approach about anything." Thank you. Yes, that's how I want to be known for, is coming to you. You are the guy for asking. And if I don't know, let's research it together to learn.
And Dustin, in all honesty and sincerity, I think you're already there, to be very, very honest. I think that a lot of people, at least in our shows, knows you and respects you and knows that that's the type of person that you really are. So again, thank you so much for being you.
And I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, honesty, man. Angie is asking, where do you see yourself in 5 years? 5 years. That's a long time.
5 years. Hopefully more expanded with my business and doing more shows. Because like I said, I'd love to do more out of Wisconsin, like getting to Tampa Bay, getting to NRBC with more reptiles and pictures and doing other cities. I love to go to a show that has HOTS. HOTS is also known as your venomous snakes. I would love to go to New Jersey where my friend lives, and he goes, "There's all kinds of HOTS here." And just to see a rattlesnake in a container that's actually being sold, just to see what it's like and have somebody on that end of the spectrum of knowing their expertise of dealing with HOTS and educating me for once about that. That would be something cool.
I think you're right. And Nanette's saying, no, but they are cool. They really are.
Yes.
They have my respect. When Sewerfest in its olden days had HOTS.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. I remember being across the aisle from somebody that had copperheads, water moccasins. I can't remember if they had a timber rattler, but the cottonmouths and especially the copperheads were just amazing animals to see in person.
No.
Right.
Amazing.
And I'd like to be more, not to say famous, but more on YouTube and people realizing, "Hey, I know you from YouTube. I've learned this about you." Thank you. That's awesome because you learned something. That's my payday. Thank you for my $1 billion check, because that's what it's all about. Conservation, educating, and just getting the word out about how to save this or how to learn about this, how to properly care for that.
Yes. Absolutely. We're going to see you at future shows. Angie, if you are not seeing the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, you're not lifting enough rocks, get out there and lift some more rocks, but safely, please. We're going to see you at other shows, Dustin.
Absolutely, yes.
It's always our pleasure, always a fun time, and most importantly, you're an uplifting person. Thank you very much for being a part of this community. And
thank you very much for that. That's extremely appreciated. Much love.
All honesty, right back at you. And thanks for coming on the show. This has been a blast. I knew it would be fun, and it has been fun. Thank you very much.
It's always fun being with you guys and talking with you guys. So it's a pleasure.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Good night, all.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.